It was the end of a week in summer, and the sky had turned dark blue, and in an evening full of day, the echoes of happenings hung around and drifted in through sleepy open windows. But before that, there were men, 3 men making notes with pens. That's where it all started, scene 1, before scene 1, and after a long introduction of names.
Scott. Chris.
And James.
The director. They had decided, like so many others, to make adult films as a way to challenge the idea of objecthood and re-examine the things that separate us. In this first scene, they talk about how as a culture we make more and more objects that rely on other objects to work, and how we, as objects too, rely on all this stuff to live more effectively, and we are bound in a cycle of so-called progress where everything is mediated through stuff from adverts. And Scott raises a very good point when he says,
we should go back to the mechanics of the body, try to experience the parameters of our flesh, and not make ourselves obsolete.
And James, the director, says,
by making adult films, we make meaningful metaphors about oneness and the continuity of self held in the body.
And Chris makes a lot of sense when he says, 2 minutes into the video,
I just love to fuck things.
Oh, write that down.
James points with a pen.
You should say that in one of the scenes.
I sometimes like to think of the things around me as props, not really the real things that they are. They seem to work and feel different, held separate from everything else. They become special. As the men set for the next scene, they scan the room for props, lube, and liquid gold. And they think about how to start, where to begin. A skybox. Knock knock. Need a new one installed? A wrench. Knock knock. That boiler's looking old. Finally, at 9 minutes and 35 seconds, they notice a pizza box in the recycling bin.
Perfect,
the director says. And to give weight to the box's performance, they each take off their socks, and fanning them out like slices of pizza inside, the box becomes a prop. 6 socks in a pizza box. 6 socks in a pizza box. At an experimental film festival in Poland, the admin assistant receives an email link to the video. It currently only has 1 view. That's me. She responds well. She's really impressed with the budget. Some of the dialogue is quite punchy, and the pizza box looks just like a pizza box. And in the more graphic scenes, she is reminded of the time that she was sick in a zoo, when she was desperate to defecate and surrounded by huge piles of animal waste, but she couldn't because she wasn't an animal. But she felt animal, and watching the video, she feels animal. And then there's another scene where they smoke in bed.
What did it mean at 1457 when your fingers were in my mouth?
It meant that people are people.
It was, I suppose, a way of articulating time and placing the body in time.
And that thing you did with your thumb?
I guess that could say something about loss.
And when you filled my belly button?
Well, that bit, I suppose, could be about the fullness of life. About how people are not just things in space. They are places that hold us. And in them we swim.